What's up? I'm on Rohan, all that stuff. It is not when your enemy attacks you that you should be worried. It's when they don't. For you are not a threat. My day is going pretty good. Hopefully yours is. You can always leave a comment on that if you wish. Now, as far as this, an attack is not defending yourself against theirs. It's just random. Unprovoked. For the most part, as far as why, other than what they may not have liked that you've done. But the question is, does your enemy, whatever it may be, or physical or not, does it attack you, or are you not a threat? If you paid attention to that picture, the girl has their eyes completely closed, meaning they're not even concerned about anything that you do, not even in the slightest, or you're not able to harm them. Is it that kind of situation for you? Regardless what it is that you do? Do you have ones that oppose you? Or a situation that does? Is this example of the girl? Is this what it does? Or are you one that requires one to have their full attention? Otherwise, they're not able to block without their full attention. As far as the situation or whatever it may be, are you a threat? Do they have to see? Or do they even need to be aware for your efforts? Your efforts will get nowhere. So in your situation, which is it? The one you wish to criticize or attack, however it may be. If you are the attacker, of course. Do they even have to see? Is their full attention upon you? Do they even care upon what you do? For it doesn't matter. For they're able to parry or block, no matter what it may be, or how, or where, or when. It doesn't matter. For your efforts, they cannot win. Is this a situation that you happen to be in? Maybe the approach you take might have to change. Either that, or the situation, it may never change. Are you even a threat to the one that you would call your enemy, whatever this may be? Are you one that to defend against they must see? Or no matter what you do, the victor will not be you. For you were never a threat and never could have been. So you trying to be a threat, you yourself can never win. Or do you wish to change this? Make it to where they must be aware of this. Do you stand there boldly? Or is it that you are not? What is the answer upon this spot? Are you worthy of them to see? Could you even be truthfully considered their enemy? And it's basic logic, if you think about it. If you are not doing something that threatens the other, why would they acknowledge the fact that you threaten them in any way? And there's no use at that point. Because it doesn't matter. For they win against you no matter. Or the situation does. It's amazing what happens if you don't know what the problem is. But then, all of a sudden, you get enlightened on what it is. What happens then? It gets solved and it goes away. But if there is no problem that needs to be solved, then why does it need to be seen? Why does it even intimidate? So why would it need to be seen? Do you even have enemies? Do you threaten them in any way? Do you challenge their ideals or why they stand? Do you make it hard for them to stand? Or can they stand there boldly with their eyes shut? Because it doesn't matter if their eyes are open or if they are shut. Being a threat to your enemy, depending on what it is that happens to be. Sometimes you might want to consider not being considered an enemy. Set aside your differences. You can get a lot more accomplished if you set aside your differences. If they're similar enough. Just a few areas they are rough. But if you must persist, you must get their attention to be considered this. To be considered an enemy. That they're even worried that you could be an enemy. Otherwise, why do you bother? Your efforts, they waste your effort, so why bother? Could be using that in other places. Could be getting farther amongst other places. If you wish to be a threat, then it is what it is. But what is it that you're threatening? Is it something that is worth threatening? Or is it something that you need not bother? Or it will have its day, no matter if you choose to bother. Well, there will be one that makes it where they cannot do as they have to you. Show upon the fact that you are not worth their time. Not even worth opening their eyes. To see what it is that you do. To see that you are an enemy to them. Worthy enough. To make it to where they have to get tough. Showing upon the fact that you are what you think you are. That your efforts, if they do nothing, will get far. Of course, it matters what you're trying to be an enemy against, of course. If it's something far superior to you. You have a lot of work to do. Otherwise, this impression that you are a threat. The proof of this you will not get. Because no matter what, your efforts, no results do they get. Being a threat to your enemy is important. especially if you wish to change something that is important. Like fighting against something that should not be. Fighting against something others that have morals wish not to see. Or even fighting for something that should be. It's not always easy for those to accept change, even when it is a better change. Something that works smoother than the one before. Something that is more profitable than before. Something that opens more possibilities of what could be. And other things that possibly could or could not be seen. At the time, you may not realize that you are not a threat. But watch what they do after the defense that you get. Do nothing for a while. See what it is that they do. Do they attack the same as you do? Or do they act as if you are not there? As if your presence they do not care? For there is nothing that you can do to them. You never know. You could end up being a friend in the end. Just because you do not like certain things about their fight does not mean that you may or may not be able to discuss what it is that you do not like. And come to a mutual understanding. And then together, possibly, you could be standing under the same banner as them. More results, more chance to win. But if you still wish to be an enemy, you have to get their attention. Otherwise, you cannot move an inch. Because to them, you are never a threat from the start to the end. Not worthy to even have an attack back without being provoked by your first attack. I hope you understand that. if you attack them and they only defend against you. But if you stop attacking and nothing they do, what does that say about you? You see them as an enemy, but they do not see you as one. Because there's nothing that you, yourself, can or will be able to get done against them as an enemy that you see. How much plainer must this be for you to see? A threat is one that catches attention of the one that they see as a threat as well. Or one that, to whoever or whatever it may be, threatens what it is that they wish to see. Otherwise, to them you are nothing. To your enemy, do you mean nothing? Can you even do a single thing to make them wish it to not be? Do they even turn their face when they try to do something and you happen to attack them? Do they turn your way? Do they even notice what it is you do or say? Or are they just one that doesn't wish to bother upon such things upon that day? Choose your battles wisely. If the battle picks you, if you pick it, but it's only you, the same thing the other, they choose not to do. Then there's some wasted effort by you. Now it's different though. If they already know, there's nothing that they can do. That's a different circumstance that I do not speak of at this point. That I will eventually get to that point. But not in this particular one. More one as far as what I speak of. One that is actually able to do something against. Maybe even more than you can do against. It's like the two of the best of the best. Does this other that is just as good as you in every single way, even turn to look your way. If they don't, you're doing something wrong. Or of course, they could be level-headed. Just one that, no matter what happens, they're level-headed. No intimidation comes from you. At least, from what they see that you do. That may or may not be. But the proof of it you do not see. That is a whole different thing. I don't mind getting into that kind of thing. At that point, you better watch out. For they could outthink you and outperform you regardless what you do. For they do not let emotion affect what it is they do. In fact, for the most part, ones like this, they already know what it is they will do before you do anything. Just natural reaction. Not even with you seeing any reaction. One like this, it's hard to read. But the results they get, they are definitely seen. Intimidating to be around one like this. For some, it's awe-inspiring to see such things as this. No matter if it's physical or not. I do not speak about violence. I speak about your situation and the ones that wish to stand in your way of you accomplishing. For you will always have ones that wish to do such as this. For how is it that they benefit if you choose to do this? You know how many people have chosen their friends or their family over being what it is that they could be? The best version of themselves that they could ever possibly see? But then as they do such things, their face, the feeling on the inside, on the deepest, deepest place, they know what it is that they have done. And they are not happy about what it is they have done. But of course, it's their choice to live with that if they do. But you will carry regret for what it was you chose not to do. Though I know easily some of my conversations and other things such as this can be used in a war aspect, kind of, and violence and other things such as this. But what is it that you stand for if you choose to do this? Is it something good? Or do you try to use it for something that is not good? This is part of the reason why I say whatever it may be. Because your constant life that you happen to see. Every single day that you live, there's a war raging as it is that you live. Between you doing what it is that you feel you need to do and those that stand in the way of what it is you wish to do. And the situations as well. That's part of the reason why I say that as well. There are those that only wish to see strife. Of course, the result they get is not always what they wish. Playing with such things as this can be dangerous, I will tell you this. Are you a threat to your situation? If it is that it is a bad situation, or does it even react? Does it turn and look back? When you choose to act, whatever the situation may be. Is there very little progress that you see? Are you a threat to your enemy? Or do they even need to see? No matter if it's physical or not. No matter if it's a person or a situation upon this spot. Or something more than even that. It can be hard to deal with such things. As far as being an enemy to one you do not wish to be an enemy. Or you stand for similar things. Just a few differences that can be seen. To discuss them would be a wise thing. Does not mean that you can have any revelation to be seen. But it does mean you can at least know where they stand. Of course, by their actions, you will always know where they stand. Think of this. If one says one thing but then does this, what does this say about the person? Is it that maybe they think out loud? You're like, I'm not quite sure. Or after they debate a little while after, to make sure that it is what it is they wish to do. Or maybe they just convey what it is that they feel they wish to do. But when it comes time to do, the results are different from what they say. Because they did not have to act at that exact point of day. Do you act too fast? Do you not let the moment before you decide last to ensure you make the right choice? Even though you might have said, I think I will make this choice. Or at least that is what I probably should do. But you know what? Maybe I might have compassion or change what it is I do. Just to show that they, whatever the situation may be, is not a threat. And I will not let that be seen. At least in a situation such as this. To be honest, I'm quite like that. Say that I might do something, but then as the time goes by before I do something, I ponder upon it first. Just thinking out loud first. What's interesting about this, though, did you know that ones that happen to do this statistically are smarter than ones that don't? Something about the fact that you're confirming what it is you wish to do with whatever is that. Now, there might be other things that involve with that. Which I'm pretty sure that I might have had a few times. I won't get into that. But there are those that you will notice act different at certain times. Not saying, not speaking of one that might be shady in a way, or one that is fake. That is a conversation for another time, though. Does your enemy do that? Do they say they'll do one thing, but then they do that? Of course, that might be at that exact time that's what they wish to do. But maybe there was an action done by you. Or there was some new information that they had to change what it is they choose to do. But is it that you are a threat? One that they would make sure to know if you attack back? Or do they even care that you try? Is it as if all your efforts in an instant die? Because to you, you see them as a threat, but they do not see you as one. With this kind of situation, who is the one that happens to be the one that will win? That's fairly easy to answer. But I will let you figure out that answer. Sometimes it's hard to know that your enemies, whatever it may be, situation, a person, or a way that you do not wish to be, knowing that they don't see you as a threat when it is that results are what you wish to get. I'm sure there are steps for you to change that. Either that or you need to rethink who it is that is your enemy that you think. Because wasted effort is never fun to have. That's part of the reason why most people do not last. They feel as if their effort, that they will get last. They don't realize that all they have to do is last. You don't have to get there fast. You just have to get there in a timely manner. Of course, you will have enemies waiting for you at a timely manner. But do they see you as a threat? Or is it that the blind eye will you get? To you, you see them as a threat. But for them, they do not see you as the same. At this point, you must learn to refrain. Either that or your tactics must change. Otherwise, you will not be the victor upon that day. In whatever it is you wish to change or accomplish upon that day. Sometimes take it from another view. That can be beneficial to you. From afar, before they even notice that you are close. Just from afar. Of course, up close, your tactic must change. Because otherwise, having no results, this fact will not change. Deal with what it is you can, and leave alone what it is you can't. Doesn't mean you still can't put effort in on a situation like this. As far as what you think you can't. Because you never know. How many more times? How long can they go? How many more might try to think the same? How many more might try to get the same thing done? And other things. What it is you think you can't get done. You are more than capable, but it's easier if you make sure you finish what you are definitely able to do. Steadily work on what you think you cannot do. Give you a small example of this. Personally, I play drums. For a short period of time, my left foot was not very good at using the heel-toe technique that I use to get my double kicks. Well, I practiced so hard on this left foot of mine that now it's actually the strongest. But here's the funny part about that. I'm right-handed. Normally, you can't do that. But you work on whatever it is that you think you can't do. You'd be surprised on what it is you can do. Of course, as I have said already, it's better to aim for the stars and miss than not aim at all. Something you think you can't do at all? Try to prove yourself wrong. Fail 100% of what you do not try. Just because you cannot do what you wish to do now does not mean your effort must fully die. Just means you gotta take a piece at a time until you're able to do what it is you need to do. You can always come back when you're actually able to do. A piece at a time works. Doesn't have to be all at once. Small example of that. Do what you can on what you think you can't. And eventually, you will not be able to say that you can't. That's part of the reason why I like to give a certain challenge. Choose something you can't do. Do it for an hour a day. For 1 year. And then see if you can still say, I can't. I'm pretty sure you won't. So ultimately, are you a threat to your enemy? Do they even need to see what it is that you choose to do against them? As far as situation or anything? That is the question that I give you. Or do they even know that you're there? Or is it that they even choose to care? That you are. Do they see you as a threat? Or is it just you that sees them as a threat? And the results? What is it that you wish to get? Is it that you wish to be a threat? Or do you not? What you do upon this spot will determine on if they see you as a threat or not. Well, that looks like all the time I have for now. So, until next time.